Oh, coming at you here from the ATX with the Box to Box Radio podcast. I'm your host, Mason Carmichael. With me, as always, to my right, Mr. Travis Carmichael. To my left, Senor Moses Hernandez. And across from me, a substitute in the brew out for water today. Hydrating. Got to stay hydrated for a long night of podcasting and editing. Of course, it's producer Chris Hernandez. Chris, here with us, as always, getting it lit up, getting it going. We got the ESPN FC show on in the background talking about all the highlights, getting that rolling. So if you hear us yell for a banger that was scored this week, sorry about it. You just turn your volume down on your radio a little bit. Guys, how we feeling? Another week in the bags. I wasn't around the game as much as I normally am this weekend. I shout out to San Antonio for a little bit, watching the misses perform in a track and field competition. So shout out to Hannah Bruce for putting up with me for that and kicking butt this weekend in that. But I was in San Antonio, thought about going to a San Antonio FC game, but unfortunately the timing didn't work out for me there. But guys, how are things in the ATX this weekend?
It's good, man. It's busy. Like we always talk about, I work with one of the local youth clubs, and it's really, really fun to get to coach a lot, and it's what I love to do. So spent a lot of time on the field today and yesterday. Got to watch a little soccer, got to partake in the River Derby.
The River Derby.
Outstanding in the Bundesliga between Dortmund and Schalke.
Yeah, one of the oldest rivalries in the Bundesliga. And from what I heard about it, I mean, I didn't get the chance to sit down and watch the whole thing. I caught some highlights, but I heard it was a fantastic match.
I mean, it was good, man. It was really back and forth. It was unfortunate, too. Really bad tackles from Dortmund, 2 red cards. I mean, they were essentially the same tackle. I mean, Royce was the first one, and I think, was it Wolf the second one?
Yeah, Wolf got the second one.
Wolf got the second one. And I mean, the tackle was identical from behind on the Achilles and just kind of raked them with the studs. It's good. It was a good game, though, man. I mean, it was intense in Dortmund. You know, there was a point where they were down 3-2 or down 3-1, and they scored the second with with
the 84th minute. Witzel scored,
yeah, with time to go, and you think even though they're down 2 men, they're going to come back and get one. And then, I mean, obviously a sensational free kick earlier in the game from Schalke.
Oh yeah, Daniel Caligiuri, what a
unbelievable! And then obviously Schalke put one on ice at the end. Man, that make things really complicated.
Yeah, and
really complicated for Dortmund.
Yeah, and early red cards in this one too. Royce in the 60th minute, as Travis was saying, and then Wolf in the 65th. Goals in this one. Götze got things started early with the 14-minute header. Caligiuri steps up and buries a PK afterwards, which no complaints here on the penalty kick. It was a penalty. And then, of course, Salif Sane with the header off the corner, and then Caligiuri with an absolute screamer of a free kick. Guys, go look that one up. And then things got messy for Dortmund with the red cards. Witzel scored to pull them within 1, and then Mbolo iced the game. Moses, I think you and I were talking about this a little earlier. The big implication on this game was not only that Schalke, away from home, beat their dear rivals, but this is trouble for Dortmund, who are challenging for a title with Bayern Munich. So my question for you, man, we were talking about it a little earlier today. Is this curtains for Dortmund? Are they done? Are they out of the title race?
I think if they don't pick it up the next game, they're going to lose it. Like I said before, it is that confidence that's running out on them. And at a high level, and when stakes are that high, I think you need to be as sharp and as attentive as you can possibly be. Because you're playing for big prizes here, and, you know, it's just not easy if you're going to just run out of confidence like that.
Yeah, so I mean, this is the big thing we're looking at here. If you look at the table, Bayern 2 points ahead.
After today, if Dortmund would have won, Dortmund would have jumped them.
Yeah, Bayern 2 points ahead. You look at who they have left to play. They have Hanover. They have Leipzig. They have Eintracht. And Leipzig they have Leipzig in the cup final as well, but they also have Leipzig in the league. So you could see them maybe slipping up.
That's the trap game for them right there because it's Leipzig.
Yeah.
In Leipzig.
Also, I mean, Eintracht has done very well this year. Eintracht is currently sitting in 4th place. Dortmund have
Werder, Fortuna, and Mönchengladbach.
Yeah, but I think we're focusing actually. I'm one of the few people that are focusing on the wrong end of the table here. This win pulls Schalke out of the death zone. Schalke goes up with 30 points. They're in 15th now.
Yeah.
And in Germany, the bottom 2 automatically go down. And the third
has that interesting playoff game with the winner.
Game, which it's interesting because one of my favorite second division teams is Paderborn, who is in
the home of Kyrie Shelton.
Kyrie Shelton in second place currently, so it's going to be a feisty turnout there for sure.
Yeah, I completely agree. I like the way that the Bundesliga does the relegation because it really, really gives you a chance to ensure that the best teams are in the league. Like, I understand if you're bottom 2, you're cellar dwellers, you should get relegated. If you're top 2 in the league, you should get promoted. Sorry, in the second division, you should get promoted. But that third coveted spot should be one where if you're a team that has a lot of talent, you just maybe wasn't your year, you should be rewarded to stay in the league. And maybe the second division team is a better team and they deserve to come up too. So I like the way they fight with that one.
Yeah. So my question for that is it a harder game to win for the second division team coming up, or is it a harder game to win for the third to last place team from the first division coming down? I think momentum wise, it might be easier for the second division team to come up.
I think it just depends on the year.
Yeah, it depends on the quality.
Talent is talent. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter how good of a momentum you have. If you have more talented players, then 9 times out of 10, you're going to win the game.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they could do a combo German-English style and do like a tournament and a playoff. Like that'd be
a lot of games.
That'd be cool, man. That'd be kind of cool. But I like the German way. I like the English way. More soccer,
Yeah, that's fair.
But that's where I was at this weekend.
Yeah, for sure. Guys, I think that's all I got on this one. I mean, great win for Schalke. Again, lifts them up the table. Dortmund's got a lot of work to do, and they need some help too. Moses, I know that your beloved Manchester City, unfortunately, beat Burnley today off what I'll call a questionable decision on the goal.
Oh, not questionable at all, man. Goal line technology showed that it was clearly over the line.
Oh.
There's nothing questionable about that.
Yeah, only goal line technology only works in the favor of Manchester City. I'm sorry to see.
I'm sorry, Moses, did the ball cross the line 100%?
100%.
Oh, then it's a goal. 100%. So what's the question about it?
There's no
What's
question.
the question about it? The line.
You're just mad that your team got blown out by Leicester.
Yeah, we're not
today.
talking about that. We're talking about the Man City game.
Yeah. So Mo, give us your insight. Is this a title ready Manchester City team? Like they have Leicester next at home, and then they end the season away at Brighton. Is this team the real deal?
I think they are, but yet again, you can't go in and just say, hey, City or Liverpool is going to win, because this title race is literally 1 to 2 points away from each team.
Yeah, City's at 92 points. Liverpool's at 91.
Yeah, it's going to go to the very last game, and that's when you're going to see who comes out on top. City's in phenomenal form, man. I don't want to jinx it and say that they're going to win the title, but with the form that Aguero is in, with the form that Sterling's in, although they got, knocked out of Champions League, it happens, errors happen, but we're talking title race now. And I think City going against Leicester is I'm not going to say that they're a bad team, but they're a good mid-level team.
Yeah, and they're coming off a big win against Arsenal too.
And Vardy's in good shape right now. He scored 2 goals this weekend, I think. And teams like that, you're gonna need to be 100% focused and prepared, because if you're not, they're gonna take that title race away from you.
I say this. I say written in the stars.
Oh, come on, give it to me.
He couldn't do it himself.
Oh, he can do it himself.
So he can do it for Liverpool via Leicester. Brendan Rodgers beats City.
Wins the title for Liverpool.
Win the title. They give him a medal.
He'll come into the backroom staff like he'll retire. Like we'll pay his salary for the rest of his life if he ends up pulling this off.
Does Gerrard get to touch the trophy? No. No, he does not.
That's the saddest thing. I was in a good mood until just now.
But this Burnley game, guys.
Moses is
wow.
He's a bloodhound. He's just sinking in on it.
You guys went way off. So in my opinion, I think this game could have gone easy 4-0 for City. What I saw was Burnley honestly bunkering in their defensive area, trying
as Burnley do.
Right. And they have every player in their box on every single attacking moment that City has, and it made it very, very difficult. I mean, should the goal not gone to VAR, it would have been a whole different story.
Goal line technology.
It's a good thing. It's got its good moments and bad moments. Obviously, like I said, Champions League, City got, they got taken way out, way out because of VAR. But hey, if it's If it's there, it's there. There's nothing
Correct
questionable about
decision.
it. I mean,
was he onside or was he offside?
Was he
Mason?
onside or offside?
Who, Aguero?
Yeah.
It went
Yeah,
to VAR.
there you
See,
go.
nothing questionable about
Then
that.
what's questionable about it?
But yeah, I like the way City played against Burnley, and I think they need to keep that same intensity, keep that same work, and I think they'll do fantastic against these next two opponents.
Yeah, I'd say
coming up.
I've just made a declaration that is written in the
A
stars.
decree.
But to go against what I've just said, there's something to be said that
He's backpedaling.
you can see I'm sitting at the table backpedaling. I'm in producer Chris's kitchen.
He's scrambling.
So there's definitely something to be said that teams that are so much better than some of the cellar dwellers they play, and it's a tough game, and how are you going to find that goal? And to go in and a game where it's not going right. It's not going right. You should have 4 or 5 goals and it's not going in. It's not going in. And to find that goal is fairly incredible. So.
Yeah. And I think it does a lot to your emotions, those type of games, it brings out like the extra fight, going into the next game. It's like, I'm ready to go. We finally got one in. It's that hunger. And I applaud City for not giving up and not, getting their heads down because they couldn't get one in, But like I said, that goes along with their work ethic. It goes along with their determination, and I think it'll be a good ending season for both Liverpool and City. It's gonna be the last game. It's gonna be incredible to see.
Yeah,
guys.
interesting title decider for sure.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, guys, really, really compelling storyline. Keep your eye on that one. The Premier League title race. It's going on great, and of course, Moses and I are tuning in like madmen because we both want our teams to win the title. But guys, there are 2 things this weekend that, outside of even just the technical side of football, that I really want to touch on. So we're going to head over to France, a league we don't really normally talk about very much, which is a shame because we should. Rennes was playing PSG in the French Cup. Mm-hmm. Ended 2-2, 6-5. Rennes won on penalty kick. So
That's
PSG
insane.
lost this game. There was a red card in this one for Kylian Mbappe as well. Travis is crying over here because he loves Kylian Mbappe. He's going to get Mbappe tattooed on his forehead or something like that.
For sure.
We got to get him a France jersey with Mbappe on the back. That'd be awesome. But after the game, PSG is walking up to get their second place medals because this was the final, I believe, of the French Cup. And they stop and they're getting pictures of the fans, stuff like that. And so Neymar walks past a Rennes fan who has his phone out. The fan obviously says something that upsets Neymar. Neymar grabs his phone and then proceeds to pop him in the jaw. One jab, punch in the face, and it looks like there's not going to be really any repercussions for Neymar. It was all on video. The security guard didn't really seem too threatened or alarmed by it. But guys, this is just another streak in the controversy of Neymar. I mean, he's flopping at the World Cup. He's coming out with all of these fits about PSG and about not being the best player there and not being the focal point and all that. And now he punches a fan. I mean, guys, I understand that he's talented, but there's got to be a line there. There's got to be a line with what you can get away with as a professional athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so 2 things. Like Mason said, we actually have ESPN FC on in the background. It's a great show. If you have a moment, check it out. It's on ESPN Plus. But yeah, we just saw the footage for the Mbappe red card, and it was actually given as a second yellow, but man, it could have easily been straight red. He caught him studs up right below the knee. It was a horrible challenge. And look, the lighthearted side of me that somewhat likes Neymar looks at that and says, oh, is it a punch? It's a little overdrawn. It's a bit dramatic. But
he got him in the jaw, man.
No.
He got him right on the chin.
He kind of pushed away at him. It was a little soft. But the moral of the story, look, you are a professional athlete. Criticize what may be. You are getting paid millions upon millions upon millions to be in the spotlight. If you don't want it, then don't take the money. So, look, he has all the ability in the world.
Yeah.
If you go on just ability alone,
he's a phenomenal player.
I mean, we're talking in the top level of players to ever play the game. He's unbelievable. But the antics, the crying at the officials, the spectator interactions, the coming out and getting banned 3 games in the Champions League next season for his comments on VAR on Instagram. Like,
I mean, taking off games too to go celebrate his sister's birthday every single year.
It's just it's ridiculous. I mean, this as a club, I would look at Neymar and say, why would I buy him? I would buy Mbappe. I would buy.
But he makes you money.
Yeah, but is it worth it? I don't think it is.
And that's my argument. I feel like he's in it for that money, fame, show thing that he has going on.
I don't know about the money aspect, but I think
dude has his own brand.
Yeah,
and struck
he has
up
his
a deal
own
with
brand.
Jordan just
He
to
has
make
his
money.
own tournaments in Brazil, doing his little 4v4s or whatever. You know, it's and like Mason was saying, he goes and what dedicated 100% athlete who's 100% focused on their job goes out and says, "Oh, hey guys, by the way, I'm not going to go to next week's game. I'm going to go, celebrate."
It's about the lifestyle for him.
I'm going to go to the beach. That's some Sunday league stuff, dude.
that's some Outsiders FC stuff, baby.
It is.
I would kick a person off my team if they did. Like if any of you bozos did that on Outsiders, gone.
But my
done.
point is like, think about it. You think Ronaldo would do that? You think Messi would do that? You think,
And that's why they're the greatest in the world. Why
they're
is
100%
Neymar?
dedicated? They have their mind in the right place.
Yeah.
Neymar, he doesn't.
And that's why he's never really been in the conversation for the best player in the world.
He was until the transfer, because with the transfer, the personality is starting to show itself.
Yeah, right. It's a new ego. It's well, I wouldn't say new ego, but he created an ego, and he's created this. I don't know what to say.
It's like a persona.
Yeah,
it's like
It's
he's
not
a
even
bad
really a
boy
persona
now.
because
It's just him.
That's just him. Because with Zlatan, it's the same. Like Zlatan, I think if you get him off the field and you get him out of the spotlight, he's a good dude, right?
Yeah.
His teammates have sung praises about him at the Galaxy. They say he's a great teammate. He wants us to develop. He wants us to get better. The whole thing he does in front of the media is a persona. He wants to strike intimidation and fear. And as a striker, you got to have a little bit of swagger, which like it's gotten him in trouble at points. But I've never once looked at Zlatan and said, man, that dude is a jerk. Like I can't, no. But with Neymar, that is Neymar. That's not a persona.
And at the same time,
that is his personality.
And at the same time, Zlatan actually works his tail off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's a professional.
And I'll make this point real quick, and then we'll move on. But I think this is a point that not many people focus on. But you look at Barcelona, was it really this stuff going on? No, but for two reasons. One, he was a little younger, so he wasn't quite there yet.
Yeah.
But two, look in the PSG locker room. Who is there to help him, to take him under his wing?
Thiago Silva. I disagree with that.
But from an attacking standpoint, now at Barcelona, you have Messi, one of the greatest
Suarez,
players to ever play the game. Suarez. You have all these people around him and says, look, you have to behave this certain way.
And that's a good point too, because like Thiago Silva was Brazil's captain, and then because of Neymar's ability, he was named captain. So
yes,
what real authority does Silva have over Neymar? Because Neymar, in his immaturity, can say, oh, well, I'm your captain for the national team. You should listen to me. That's the other thing I think that's made things worse is he's been named captain for his national team just because of sheer ability alone. It hasn't been because of his leadership. It's been because he is the, on paper, best player on that team.
And I do like the Brazil coach. I think he's done a good job when they brought him in, but there wasn't a real captain. They rotated. Every other game was a new
captain. They were going
Marcelo
through
was captain. Marcelo was captain.
Just give
Neymar
the
was
band to
captain.
Bobby.
Bobby Firmino.
I would honestly rather have the wristband.
Marquinhos was
the
captain.
band on him.
Thiago Silva was captain. Like they just rotated
Bobby.
But
consistently.
and like my thing is they say that Neymar is supposed to be the next huge Pele in Brazil. It's no. With how he's acting, with how he's going about, playing his football, that's not going to happen.
He was also not in the top 10 players of all time for Brazil. He was not on that list.
Honestly, he dropped.
The Brazil fans hate him.
He dropped off.
They don't like
after
him.
Barca.
Yeah,
they don't like the way that he dives when he's on the field because they're used to seeing the Brazil teams with Pele, Ronaldo, Carlos Alberto, Kaká, Ronaldinho that just play the game beautifully. They put everything else aside and play like they're kids, right?
Yeah, they get hit.
They possess the ball. They get back on their feet when they fall, and they're tired of seeing what Neymar's doing. So I respect the heck out of that from the Brazil fans.
Yeah, I do too.
Fair point.
Yeah, so a lot to keep your eyes on here for Neymar. But guys, I'm going to the game that really interested me this weekend, and it has nothing to do with the soccer. Nothing to do with the soccer. So, as you know, right now in the English Championship, we are in the midst of just ultimate carnage here with the top six coming on.
As it comes on the TV for ESPN
How do you know,
FC. I can't make this up.
Yeah,
it's
that's
brilliant.
fair. So right now, Norwich City, of course, won the league today. They didn't win the league. They clinched going up, and so they're going to be promoted to the Prem next season. But Leeds United, 3rd place, Aston Villa, 5th place. Of course, top 6 teams all have a chance to make the Premier League. So this is a very, very big game when it comes to implications on what would happen. So, guys, Leeds playing Aston Villa, not really a big game. There was tied 0-0 up until the 72nd minute. So a couple minutes before that, Aston Villa, one of their midfielders was running and gets clipped and looks like he absolutely does his knee, right? So Leeds United does not have to kick the ball out of bounds because it's not a head injury. So the referee lets him play. However, the body language of their midfielder makes it appear that they're going to stop the game. So he stops, waves his hand up, acts like he's going to kick the ball out of bounds, and then plays a through ball to the winger. Winger crosses it, Leeds scores. What ensues is just a skirmish off the ball. You have one of the center backs from Villa grabbing Klitsch, the guy that scored for Leeds, and shaking him. You have elbows being thrown, people getting hit in the face. El Ghazi for Aston Villa was red carded because of a hit to the face of a Leeds player. And so everyone's yelling at each other. Everyone's going crazy. And all the madness, Bielsa, the Leeds coach, calls his captain and a couple other players over to the sideline and starts adamantly giving them directions. And so basically, I kid you not, look this up. Taylor Twellman has a great video of it on his Twitter feed right now. Bielsa, off the kickoff for Villa after his Leeds team scored the goal, has ordered his team to stand still and allow the Aston Villa players to dribble through the whole team and put it in the back of the net. This game ended 1-1. Guys, not only do I want your reactions, but I want, seriously, is Bielsa crazy for this or is he justified? Like, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think this is one of the hardest things in football because I think the number one thing in anything and much with football is idealistic versus realistic. And the ideas you might have and how you want to represent yourself and how you want to play and this and that are all great on paper. And then there's the reality of certain things and situations and how you're going to play and stuff like that. So I think this was spot on. I think this was, you say, ideally, this is as a manager how I want my person and my club to represent. This is like how we want to represent ourselves. And then in the moment when the chips were down, money's on the table, need points, you could automatically qualify. You know, you could not qualify. This is a big game. Like, this is not just some, this is two teams that are going to be in the playoff to get promoted. Like,
That's true.
This is big time. This is a huge
With
match.
the way it looks right now, with Leeds in 3rd and Villa in 5th, if Villa slips up or Leeds slips up, they play each other in the playoff.
I mean, like, I think it's incredible that he did that because when you watch the film, it's unbelievable. Like, there's always concern, all right, well, that guy was down, you didn't play it out. But the center midfielder for Leeds puts his hand up and says, I'm going to knock it out. And then he
plays the
through ball.
Great through ball,
by
the
way.
way.
Lovely. And then guy cuts inside, ding, bottom corner, brilliant. But, I mean, if you're Aston Villa, you're hard done by because, like, John Terry is on the bench just losing his mind.
Yeah.
And you're hard done by because, to be fair, the goal didn't just make it right, and they're lucky it ended 1-1 because Aston Villa then were reduced to 10 men.
Yeah,
because of all
they
the
were lucky
madness.
just to be reduced to 10 with the way their players were grabbing everybody.
Security was on the field. The staff was coming to separate the players, and then also after the Aston Villa goal, there's one player who's upset from Leeds. Everyone else is like, all right, we'll let him score. There's one player that's upset from Leeds, and after the goal, he goes and he just kicks the center forward as hard as he can, and that's a whole skirmish. And I haven't seen anything like it. This is madness.
Yeah,
and
especially
the fact
the top
that it's
level.
the captain.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of disappointing in my eyes.
I mean, I get it.
Do you think
get
that
it.
Bielsa was justified in making the call to let them go score?
There's no written rule that you have to play the ball out. There's no written rule that you have.
No, but
let me finish.
All
finish.
right.
There's no written rule that you have to let the team score. That then turns into a gentleman part.
Yeah.
It comes out of the respect part.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fair. That's just how the culture is of football. Now, I don't think what the center back did was called for. It was completely uncalled for.
Okay.
It was, for one, it was.
You're talking about the Villa defender grabbing him by the neck and kind of shaking him, or
the Leeds
or
player.
the Leeds player kicking out at the striker.
Okay, well, yeah, sorry about that. I didn't explain
I'd
that part.
say both.
Well, yeah, both. But what I'm talking about is Jansen, the center back from Leeds.
Oh,
He's the
okay,
captain.
yeah.
He's the captain for Leeds. What I don't like that he does is that he's the captain for Leeds. He puts ultimate disrespect on the band and the club.
But that's my thing about it. Does he though? Because he is fighting tooth and nail for his club, which I think I completely disagree with what Bielsa did.
You really?
No,
I completely
no.
adamantly disagree with what Bielsa did.
Do you want to know why I think what he did was uncalled for? Because 10 of his men let that ball go, even the goalkeeper, and he's
so
the
your
only one.
responsibility as a captain is to fight for the badge until you die. That is your responsibility
Yeah.
for the captain. So he
Right.
he was the only one running after the ball trying to stop him. Like, if I'm the captain on that team and that club is embedded into my veins like it is, and I've been fighting this whole season to get them promoted, and then my coach just does a cop-out thing like that to let them dribble through my whole team, rec league stuff, and let them score a goal, I'm hacking the guy that runs through because
That's
I'm
not rec league
very
stuff.
upset.
That's not rec league stuff.
Really, standing 11 players behind the ball while the striker dribbles through you without any
It's a
opposition
sign of
is not rec
respect
league?
because of what happened before that. It's a sign of respect. That's where the gentleman part of the game comes.
Okay, but here's my thing. If you're Bielsa,
And there's been
you know
plenty
what you
of
do?
games that
you
that's
take
happened.
the W, you publicly apologize after, and you bench that player for the rest of the season. That's what I do if I'm the manager. I say, look,
Wait, you're
didn't
going to
have-
bench the entire 11 from Leeds?
Yeah.
I'm going to bench the two guys that said they would kick the ball out and didn't. It's not the rest of the team's fault that they did that. It was two players. It wasn't like they had a passing sequence of 15, 16 passes. It was two guys that followed up on the play. That's it. You make
Right.
an example out of those two players and you sit them for the rest of the season. And then at the end of the year, you evaluate whether or not they want to beat your football club. You come out as the manager. You say, that is unacceptable for our club and for our culture for these guys to disrespect the game that way. But you don't disrespect the game in itself by letting them dribble through. And again, if the ref had that much of a problem with it, he should have blown the whistle.
No, but you...
No. Okay, hold on. So the two people...
Because it's referee's discretion.
The
He
two
is able to
people-
stop the game no matter what the injury is. He is able to stop the game.
That's true.
So if he thought that, okay, this guy's really hurt and Leeds are
He could have stopped the game
He could have
immediately.
blown the whistle. But guess what? He did not have the stones to make the call and do that. So guess
I
what?
don't think it comes to the stones because in the referee handbook it says it's up to the referee's discretion whether it's if it's
very gray area.
If it's an injury to the head, absolutely it'll be called. After that, it's up to the players and up to the people who are playing to either pass the ball out to respect the guy that's hurt or to play on.
That's embarrassing from our Bielsa, though. That's embarrassing.
I
No,
100%
If you are a
no.
top level club that is a competitor in the Champions League and you see that he does this, what are the odds that he's going to get a job? Because that's really what his intention was when coming to Leeds. He wants to coach at a higher level. Do you think they're going
Right.
to hire a coach like that? I wouldn't at my
I
club.
would.
My club's got a ton of integrity. But if Jurgen Klopp one day came out after a goal like that and said, "Hey, I want all 11 of you guys to stand there for 30 seconds and let the other team score on us,"
Given
in
the situation, yeah, I would be
in
okay
a
with
game
it.
to clinch a Champions League spot in the top league, I would not be upset if the Liverpool fans were calling for his head after the game because that
So-
is ridiculous. That is not how you
No,
play the
I
game.
disagree.
No,
so hold,
no,
hold,
no,
hold,
no,
hold,
that's-
hold on,
that's
hold on,
way
hold on.
out.
So from a captaincy standpoint, I agree with you. To be upset at that decision, I agree because I get it. You're fighting for the club and the fans, and there's an emotional connection here. But here's my issue. I think it was the right decision because of the integrity in the moment under fire that it took to make it right. Now,
I don't
here-
think that's
stop.
integrity. They rolled over. They
no,
rolled over.
No, nobody's rolling over. It's the fact that you're
How do you mean
respecting
no
the
one's rolling over?
situation.
You're standing there letting them
You're
score a goal on you.
You're respecting that.
Hey.
Okay, I messed up. The team was supposed to play the ball
Okay.
out. Listen,
To quote Travis,
listen,
it's a
listen,
sport.
Listen,
It happens in sports. It's
right,
unfair.
but in this,
Get on with it.
Right, but in this sport, there's also a point where you respect your opponent. So the two people that ultimately disrespected the game.
So pull 'em.
Listen, just listen. The two people that disrespected the game, they let the other team obviously score. And this has been something that's been done in football for years.
You've seen a team before stop 11 players on a kickoff
Yes.
and let them dribble and score.
Yes.
If you can show me the evidence for that, I might concede.
So
This guy. You're acting like this is the first time this has ever happened.
So
in
here's what
football.
I'll say. Like I said, and let me finish this time, please. So the integrity from a standpoint as a human being to say you can talk all you want about how Liverpool has integrity and this and that, or any club for that matter, and then, we have integrity and this and that. And then in the moment, it's like, gone. So in the moment, he was tested. He did the right thing. And also, here's my question, and this is another side of it. If the FA reviews that and they say, because you clearly look at it and you say as a soccer fan, as a global impartial soccer fan, that is wrong. The young man who put his hand up and said, I'm going to play the ball out of bounds and didn't, that is wrong. That is wrong.
I agree with that. That is wrong.
So here's my thing. What happens when the FA looks at that and as a club, because if I'm Aston Villa, the kid's lucky that a jersey full was going to happen. I would have two-footed the guy who got the through ball.
And I would have been fine with that.
So as an FA, how do you stop the injuries and the fans being crazy and like the riot and stuff after that? How do you stop that as an FA? You put a penalty on the club. So did he do the right thing and earn a point for his club, or did he put his club in risk of losing 3 points?
But that's my thing too, right there, right? This move from Bielsa nullifies any retroactive action that could.
But it was the right thing to do.
Issue.
Right. It was
because it was the right thing to do.
No, it's sports, okay? This happens all the time in sports. It's unfair. Things don't go your way. If you look at the NFL during the playoffs, right? The Saints got cheated out of a win by the Rams because the wrong call was made. Guess what? It's sports. It happens.
So it's different because it's not an incorrect referee decision.
It was an incorrect referee decision.
No, it is not. It is absolutely not.
It
is not a decision by the referee. It is a player cheating and saying, I'm going to stop the game.
How is he cheating if he didn't break any rules of the game, though? That's what I'm saying. It's because now you leave that up to debate for the referees, but now the headline's not going to be the referees need to go back and reevaluate the rule. The headline is going to be, look what Leeds did. Oh, what great sportsmanship. Everybody gets an orange slice at halftime, right? That's ridiculous, right?
No.
But also
play
you look
the
at
game.
That is terrible.
Keep playing the game. If Leeds wins the game, take the fine. That is moral to me. Take the fine.
No.
Admit
and
after
the loss
game,
of 3 points potentially?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh,
that makes no sense.
If that's what the FA rules, you take the punch and you say, look, we're dealing with the players that did it. We're going to come out and publicly apologize. But at the same time, it takes the referee's ability and credibility away to take away that point. Not take away the point, to make the rule change happen, because I agree that's an issue in soccer. The whole concept of advantage is so subjective.
It's like any other sport. It's unlike any other sport.
Yeah, it's so subjective that literally the guy didn't do anything wrong. And there's a million ways to look at this. Like, there is no right answer to this. There is no right answer to say, oh, well, Bielsa did the right thing, Bielsa did the wrong thing. But if I am a Leeds supporter, I'm livid. If I'm an Aston Villa supporter, that doesn't really make up anything for me, because you know why? They still cheated in the respectful laws of the game between players on scoring their goal. And so Aston Villa fans will still feel hard done by. And even more so, they got a red card after that sequence. So maybe they felt like they could have kicked on and won the game too. So,
yeah, but it doesn't, no matter what happens, it doesn't give you the right to go put someone in a chokehold.
That whole game was ruined.
It was ruined, but in the
ridiculous
moment, from an integrity standpoint, I think it was the right decision.
Yes. And honestly, okay.
From an integrity standpoint.
And to correct you, Mason, Stoke City, I don't know the year, Stoke City allowed Steven Gerrard, who was playing for Liverpool, to score. Honestly, it was his last goal, right, for the season?
Did he dribble through on a kickoff?
Right.
And was there anything on the line?
But, okay, my point is that it is the respect factor of football.
I still don't think that's respectful. If they let him dribble through the team just because they want him to score a goal.
That's nonsense. That is nonsense.
I am with Moses on this one.
It takes away the meaning of a goal. If I'm a competitor and you let me dribble through you and I don't have to use my skill to beat you because you roll over and let me do whatever I want, that means nothing to me.
That
means nothing to me.
It's the respect factor of the sport.
Yep, I agree.
There's been people who...
y'all are too soft. This is ridiculous.
No,
it's not being too soft.
Integrity.
It's having respect for the game, and it's having that actual love for the game. There's people who got fouled. Ref calls a penalty. And the guy's like, no, hey, ref, that was not that. I know what your job is. I know what you think you saw, but I'm gonna come tell you that was not a penalty. And there's been cases where it's like dying moments of the game, and it's like important, but the player goes with the respect and the culture of the game and shanks the ball because he tells the ref himself That wasn't a penalty.
But to me, if you tell a referee that it's not a penalty and he overturns the call, that's you overturning an incorrect call by the referee. This, as you both have said, was not an incorrect call by the referee. It was
black and
it was an unwritten
It's a black
law
and gray
of the
area.
game.
Yeah.
It was an unwritten law of the game. And so guess what? It happens. Congratulations. They didn't cheat. They went on the law of the game. You, as a team, have to deal with that.
It's
and rally
wrong.
and come
You
back.
know it's wrong. He knows it's wrong. He knows
I'm
it's
not
wrong. We
saying
all
that it's
watch it. We
wrong.
know it's wrong. The coach did what he
I'm not
did
saying it's not
to make it
wrong.
right. He made it right.
I'm
Integrity.
just saying that's soft
I have
for
a,
Bielsa.
I have,
No,
I have a
that's
lot
not
of
soft. That's
respect
not
and
soft.
class for that man. He did the right thing in a
He
tough
did.
moment when it was
Disagree.
the hard thing
He
to do.
did.
He did the right thing.
100% did the right thing.
100% disagree. That was
That's-
the wrong thing
no.
to do in that moment. Wrong thing. But guys, of course, you can listen to us debate about this all day, but we want to hear what you think too.
Speaking of that, shout out to Henry Farragher, my buddy originally from Reading, now living in Uruguay. He actually wrote into the show listening to us about the championship talk. I want to give a shout out to his team, Reading. They are surviving relegation, so they're going to stay in the championship. Congratulations. And he has corrected the all-knowing and powerful guru that is Mason Carmichael and me as well. And he has clarified that the Fulham versus Chelsea is the West London derby, and West Ham versus Millwall is the East London derby.
Yes, correct. I got confused with the West kind of thing on there.
Yep.
I'm man enough to admit that's my bad. Henry Farragher, I'll buy you a brew next time if you're ever back in the States or I make the trip down south. I'd love to hang out with you, but yeah, I'll admit that. But guys, again, tell us when we're wrong. If you disagree with our opinions, get at us at B_radio on Twitter. That's the best way to reach us. And also our email, 90minuteboxboxradio.com. Guys, we're going to wrap up our analysis here, and we got one mailbag question that I want to dive into. This comes from Eli on Twitter, at Elijah Timms. Big-time listener here. He wants to know, he's a big Bundesliga guy. He was happy that on our last show we talked a lot about the Bundesliga, and so he's got a Bundesliga question for us. He said, what are your opinions on the transfers, and he's talking about outgoing transfers here, in the Bundesliga? Who do you think is leaving this season, and where do you think Robert Lewandowski will end up? So, guys, what are your opinions? Let's start with the first part of this question here. What are your opinions on the players that have left the Bundesliga and are now thriving in other leagues around the world?
I mean, I think it's a lot like anything else. I think it's just where you take a player in Germany and you're able to give them a lot of experience and playing time when they're young, and then when they're ready, they go to kind of other leagues and they have more success and they look more like starlets because they're paddle tested. The German league is such a young league, and it's such an imbalanced league in the sense that you can be a young player on 80% of the teams and get minutes instantly without being a world-class player, because there are only, I'd say, 2 to 3 world-class teams in the Bundesliga in terms of the highest level, like
I agree.
like Champions League caliber, winning the Champions League caliber teams. So I think it's a really good league. It's a really young league. You're starting to see it more in the Netherlands with obviously Ajax and some of the other clubs there, where the younger players don't want to go to, a Barca or a Madrid and sit on the bench. They want to go play in a different league, maybe a lesser league, if you will, for a lesser team. And then in a couple of years, they want to go and make a big impact at a big club, but they want to enjoy their football while they're young.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Going on the youth aspect of that, so like you got Alphonso Davies coming into the Bundesliga. You got Tyler Adams, who just came from New York Red Bulls. These
Weston McKennie at Schalke too.
exactly. Yep, Pulisic that was in there.
Yeah, for Dortmund. Yeah, and these are the guys that are coming over to the Prem. Like I wanted to kick it to you too about like Sané, De Bruyne, Pulisic. These guys that are now coming over to the Premier League and basically are going to be starters for their teams and stars.
Absolutely. In my personal opinion, I feel German football has amazing developmental programs. Their youth systems are on par. The way that they develop players is just incredible. You learn so much over there, and it shows. You got Sané, you got Kevin De Bruyne, Pulisic. I mean, the list can go on. It's these players actually show what they learned in Germany, and I honestly think German football should be higher than what it is right now.
Yeah, and this is a little bit off topic, but still kind of on topic. So go back and look at look at Sané, look at De Bruyne, look at Virgil van Dijk when he played for Celtic. Obviously, it's a different league, but the concept is go back and look at these players when they played at that league. Go look at highlights. They're unbelievable.
Yeah.
But then you look at like Virgil van Dijk back when he was at Celtic. Who did Liverpool have at center back? They had Skirtle, Jamie Carragher. They had like world-class guys at the time. So they're not really interested in that. But if you still go look at that, they're quality. They just they're in a system in a league at that moment where they get to play, and minutes are the most important thing.
Yeah, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and answer the last part of the question here for him. That was really, really good analysis. There's nothing much more I want to add to that. But for as guys who I think would be really, really good at the top level coming out of the Bundesliga this season, I think Timo Werner's going to be on the move this summer. I think Liverpool is where he's going to end up. There was a lot of talk last summer about him making the jump over there, but I think he'll get out of Leipzig. And
he fits Liverpool style as well.
He does. I think he'd be a good rotation guy and backup for Firmino to kind of play as that striker in the system to stretch the line and check in and get the ball in the midfield as well. Other guys that I'm looking at to maybe make the jump to a bigger place. Hakimi, the fullback for Borussia Dortmund, I think he's really, really good. He's currently on loan there from Real Madrid. I think he could be an incoming transfer for Dortmund. They're trying to buy him from Madrid right now because he's been a revelation for them this season. And then another guy that I'll give you a name of that I think has had a standout year this year for Bayern Munich is Serge Gnabry. I think Serge Gnabry is the guy that could be on the radar for a couple teams as well coming out of the Bundesliga. So a couple guys to look out for.
For me, the obvious one is Jadon Sancho, who is currently the leading assist. He has the most assists in the Bundesliga. And then also you look at, you can pick through Dortmund all day long. You can, you look at Akanji and a bunch of other guys that are kind of on the younger side. And yeah, exactly. But I mean, Alphonso Davies is just kind of moving to Bayern Munich. So I think it's a little too early, but Kingsley Coman is still very young. You look at some of the other guys. I mean, like Rowe from Arsenal, Emery Smith Rowe is on loan.
Yeah.
Arsenal has a couple other players that are floating around there, but
even the older guys too. I think Arjen Robben and Frank Ribery are both out of contract at the end of the summer with Munich and MLS destinations for them, it looks like. And speaking of that, Mr. Timms here asked about Lewandowski and where he's going. Confirmed by Taylor Twellman that there is interest from Major League Soccer, and the interest is on both sides.
No, he's not coming to MLS. You know who is going? You know who is going to come to MLS? But Lewandowski's going to come to MLS. In the next year.
I'd say within the next year or two, he's coming to MLS.
Here's what's going to happen.
But it's been reported by Taylor Twellman. Taylor Twellman has talked and with sources close to Lewandowski and knows that he's coming over. You can't deny the fact that there's interest from both parties there. I mean, just because you don't think it's going to happen doesn't mean that there's not interest bubbling up on both sides. I would not be shocked if we see him in MLS in the next 2 years.
I'm making my prediction. I mean, that's great and all, and he will end up in MLS eventually. I don't think it's within the next calendar year. I think what happens first, I think Benzema comes to the MLS. Mm-hmm. There's been rumors at NYCFC potentially,
but have they been confirmed by Taylor Twellman?
No, they haven't. But I'm saying,
why is Benzema more feasible than Lewandowski?
He's older, and Lewandowski is still, I think, more of a pinnacle striker in his career. But when Benzema's kind of on the downer side of it. Yeah, he's 30, but his
wife has also openly said that she wants to come live in America.
He's got at least 2 more years at the top level in Europe. I think he goes to Real Madrid.
So did Schweinsteiger when he left.
No,
he was 30. So did Wayne Rooney when he left.
Right, but 30 for them and 30 for a striker is very different.
Wayne Rooney's a striker.
Wayne Rooney, yeah, but is he the fittest? Like, is he as fit and
I don't know? Ask the play
as match fit as
the play where he ran 60 yards in the 90th minute, made the tackle, got up, ran another 20 yards, and crossed it in and won the game for him.
Look, I think Lewandowski has 2 more years as the top 5 strikers in the world. I think he hasn't really done much in terms of European success. He wants to go be successful. I think he goes to an elite club for 1 year and then he might come over.
No, he's coming to MLS.
Yes, in 2 years or 3 years. Not next year.
1 to 2.
No, not in this summer transfer window.
No. Okay, I'll agree with you on that part, but I think he comes over
in January
than later. He might come in January.
I mean, I agree with that. I mean, just like Griezmann's going to go, Benzema's going to go
Miami.
Right.
That's where I think Benzema ends up is at Miami in 2020.
But I don't think that right now anybody's going to be moving.
Yeah.
over there anytime soon.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Not from the top level of Bundesliga. Well, maybe Robin. and Ribery,
Griezmann
yeah.
still has a good amount of football left at that high level. I
Yes.
think Lewandowski still has a good amount of football left at
Robin
that high
and
level.
Ribery, not so much.
Yeah, those are guys that kind of need, they're obviously not starting
35
as
years
much.
old, yeah.
Right, they're not starting as much. Benzema still has a few moments left, and obviously there are times going to come, but I don't see it coming anytime soon right now.
Yeah. Guys, that's all the time we have right now. Thank you again to Elijah Timms, at Elijah Timms on Twitter, for sending us that question. Guys, we want to hear your questions. We want to read and respond and debate about them. And we want to hear your comments too and your reactions to the show. So please get at us on social media. Twitter is at @2B_radio. Instagram is box_radio. Facebook, just easy to find, box radio. And then, of course, our email for all your questions and reactions is 90min@box2boxradio.com. Guys, we are on all of your streaming platforms that your heart desires. We are on Stitcher. We're on iTunes, Spotify. We're on Google Play. We're working on getting Pandora and SoundCloud up as well. And also, producer Chris is working on our YouTube channel too. We're going to try and get video as soon as possible here. We might have to move out of the kitchen and into the garage at Chris's house and kind of set up the man cave vibe. I might bring over some of my jerseys to kind of set it up and give us a cool little vibe here. But guys, again, I'm Mason Carmichael. We got Chris Hernandez across from me, the producer, giving you guys episodes every week. We got Travis to my right, Moses to my left. That is all the time we have. Again, thanks for listening. Get on out of here, guys. We'll see you next week.